Thursday, October 22nd, we will vote on a notice of proposed rulemaking under the guise of open internet. That's what it's being called, the open internet item. This is the launch of what will be a fairly lengthy public comment period on what has become known in the vernacular as net neutrality rules, regulation network management, call it what you will. It's a fairly long NPRM, Notice of Proposed Rulemaking. It asks many questions, but of course the premise behind all of it, as was outlined in Chairman Julius Janikowski's speech of a couple weeks ago, is that the internet is broken and government must fix it. It has actual text of proposed rules, which over the past few years at the FCC had gotten into a bad habit of not including the text of proposed rules in a notice of proposed rulemaking. So I guess that's a good thing, and that you get to see what is being proposed. It gives, the draft that we have right now has not been discussed yet amongst the commission offices, the commissioner's offices. That'll happen here in the next 10 days. Excuse me. So it may change during that time, but as the draft now stands, it focuses mainly on adding what is called a non-discrimination requirement to the 4 net neutrality principles that came out in the summer of 2005. Now, a little bit of background for those who may or may not know, and I realize I'm dealing with differing levels of knowledge here. In the summer of 2005, the FCC came out with 4 internet freedom principles. Michael Powell called them the 4 internet freedoms. They were principles. They did not go through a public comment process, the normal rulemaking process. They're not rules. They were not codified in the Code of Federal Regulation, the CFR. Nonetheless, last year, the Commission decided to treat them as if they were enforceable rules in a case that became known as the Comcast BitTorrent case, which is now on appeal before the DC Circuit.
Can you explain the concept of net neutrality for those who may not be familiar with the term?
Well, net neutrality actually has no dictionary definition, so it's a bit of a Rorschach term I've called it in the past, which is, depending on your perspective, you'll see something different in that term. But it is at least being offered up as something to keep the internet open and free. But I think the average American consumer thinks right now the internet is open and free, and we've done that through fostering a collaborative process where network operators, phone companies, cable companies, internet backbone providers, wireless companies, and software designers and application providers have all worked collaboratively to make sure the internet works well together. That goes back to the Clinton-Gore administration, back when the internet was first made available to the public in 1994, and has really helped foster the robust internet, the internet that we love today, and has been so successful. So it really doesn't have a definition, but one thing it does have in common, regardless of whose definition it is to have more government involvement in how the internet operates.
Why should everyday Americans care about what the FCC is up to?
Actually, what we do at the FCC affects the daily lives of every American. If you've ever made a phone call, if you've ever sent an email, if you've ever gone to a website, if you ever listened to the radio or watched television, be it over-the-air TV or satellite or cable, the FCC touches your life. We regulate all aspects of that. So that's something that really, we're one of the few agencies, I think, that really does affect just about every American every day.
What risks are involved with U.S. government regulation of the internet?
Well, a couple things. One is it necessary? So if something's not necessary, do we need to do it? Obviously, the answer would be no, but what are the unintended consequences of stepping into a space that we haven't stepped into before? Could it be to deter investment capital? Could it mean that a few years down the road the government takes more steps into that space? So that's something for people to think about as to whether or not they would want the government there.
Do you think these issues have been adequately covered by the media?
I think the media, of course, is such a vast, diverse group, I would say, between bloggers and various websites, as well as radio and television and newspapers and all of it. There's been a lot of discussion of these issues. I think as we see the FCC start to work on these issues some more, we'll see more coverage, and I think that'll be healthy. We'll have a long public comment period, and I think it's healthy to have the debate.
Thank you so much.